G'day, welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's video. My name's Matt, but you all know me as WFX Malice. In today's video, we're going to be doing some upgrades on the sim rig. Let's get started. So over the last couple of months, we've done a few upgrades on the sim rig and I've sort of slapped things back together in a bit of a rush just to get things up and running so I can use it, with the expectation that someday in the future we will go back and fix those up. Well, I've jumped in the time machine, we're now at that day in the future and we're going to fix those up. But before we jump into that, I want to give you guys a couple of updates. Earlier in the week, I did a video on purchasing a vehicle from interstate, and we've mainly put that video together because I've just ordered my wife a new vehicle. So now transport has been booked for that. We should see that. They've given us a fairly long delivery date. They've put it out to about 2 to 3 weeks. I don't think it's going to take that long. I think they're just allowing for anything to go wrong due to COVID. So hopefully we should see that in the next week or so, but I'll keep you updated and we will do a reveal on that vehicle when it gets here. The other thing is I did a video a week and a half ago on the almost 500 subscribers. We haven't quite got to 500 subscribers yet. It's been a little bit slow with the subscriptions, and I think that's mainly because everyone's getting back to work and back to school and back to their busy life and really not watching YouTube as much as they were during the whole COVID thing. So when I did the video, I was sitting at 497. Now I didn't tell you guys that. On your screen, I think it was sitting at about 490 or 492. So YouTube has updated and I've only received 2 subscriptions in the last week and a bit. So looking for a little bit of support from you guys. Find your favorite video that I've done over the last few months. Maybe it's one that made you laugh, maybe it's one that made you cringe, maybe it's one that you found interesting. Post it on your social media platform or whatever you're using. Give us a hand, help us get the name out there and get those numbers up. Right, enough about that. Let's jump into the sim rig. Let's have a look at what we're going to do. So first one is here. We've got a few uprights here. So I want to mount the screen on a screen bracket. But to do that, I'm going to have to raise up these uprights. So these ones here, 1.2 meters. The ones on there, I think, are about 700 or 800 mil. So if we put this in place back here, we can see there that we're just slightly higher than the monitor, and the mounting holes for the bracket on the monitor are set down. Oh no, it's at about 10 centimeters, 7 centimeters, so we're going to be able to get some extra height out of this monitor, which will be good. Because if we buzz around the back here, we can see, if we put the camera at head height, that steering wheel and servo base is really eating into some of the real estate there on the monitor. So if we can lift that monitor up, that'll get us a better angle. I can tilt the monitor back down towards me so it'll take some of the glare off of when I'm doing my filming. The other thing we're going to do is, for you guys that remember my first couple of videos, we made a few brackets to mount this wall mount PC. That's mainly because we've got cords running behind it. We needed it spaced off of the sim rig, but unfortunately I kept breaking the 3D printed brackets that I made. Whether it was because I was knocking the sim rig down here with my foot as I was getting out, or perhaps I was putting my hand up on top of this upright when I climbed in or out, and I just kept snapping brackets, so I ended up screwing it directly to the sim rig. So we're going to put a spacer behind that just to bring this away from here so it'll sit nice and flush straight up and down. The other thing we're going to do is, once we remove these uprights at the back here, I'm going to make a little bit of a console over this side here, so I've got somewhere to put this shifter. Because look, in reality, you don't have a shifter behind your steering wheel up that high. You'll have it more so down here, around sort of knee level. And I'm doing that mainly because in the future I do hope to get a VR headset, and you want the gear shifter to be where it should be on a normal vehicle. I don't want to be reaching forward to grab it and accidentally missing it and punching the screen and breaking that. So we're going to neaten that up, and hopefully I've got some room to be able to put a little table, so I've got somewhere to put my keyboard, put my mouse, put my remote, put my phone, and if I've got any left, I might try and make some brackets back here so I can mount the rear surround sound speakers. So I might prop the camera up for a bit of a time lapse as I go and pull this apart, rip this screen off and take the PC off. Gonna have to remove those legs one by one at the back. So quickly taking a look here at all the equipment we've got to use today. This is the spacer I'm going to use to separate the sim rig from the PC. We're going to use a couple of these ball bearing drop-in T-slot nuts. So that little ball bearing on the end there is going to allow them to grip into the channel. And I've just thrown one in there so you can see. it's not going to fall down, whereas the other ones will just automatically fall down to the ground. So it means if I remove the PC, those brackets will stay in place and stay at the correct height. I've got a couple of wood screws there we're going to use to screw this to the PC. These ones here for the outer, and I'm going to put another one on the inside there. I'm not quite sure which length, depending on how I countersink them. I've got a couple of bolts here that's going to go through the PC to the drop-in brackets. I've got some 90-degree brackets. I've got some spare hardware here because you do strip these nuts from time to time, so you want to have them there. A couple of tools there. We need to keep our eye on this socket here in particular because that is the elusive 10mm. Got our drill bits, and we've got a countersink bit there as well. All right, let's get into it. Well, job is done a few hours later and a lot of mucking around, but we did get there eventually. So we got the screen lifted up, that's now on the brackets. We got the desk tilted on an angle which was on a 10 to 12 degree angle. Much better than sitting flat because the Fanatic steering wheel is set 90 degrees to the base. They do give you a 20-degree bracket, but it's just far too steep for me. It feels like I'm driving a truck or a bus. So we also made use of the top of the screen brackets by fitting the speaker up there. So we've got that up off the desk and out the way. That looks a lot neater. The PC is now hanging nice and flat off of the sim rig. We got our console made for our shifter. So a couple of steps I took backwards though. Unfortunately, I broke the USB cord off of my handbrake. So I may be able to take that apart and resolder it. Otherwise, it just uses a Arduino Nano. So I've got a whole heap of them. I could probably just go and reprogram one and stick it in there. Uses an analog input, which brings one of the pins high, I believe. Need to do some investigation, but I think that's what's going on there. And I also did bust the power switch on my PC, so I've got to work out what's going on there. At the moment, I'm just using my knife to jump start it across the pins. All in all, I think it's all gone well. The console, we've got the shifter mounted down there, so it's right next to the steering wheel. That's perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. So hopefully now we'll be able to see a little bit more of me driving in the sim rig. Guys, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Throw me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Leave a comment on what you thought of the video and any suggestions for future upgrades on the sim rig. As I said earlier, I'm literally sitting on the $4.99. I've probably ticked over to 500 subscribers today while I was doing all this work. But please go and share one of my videos on one of your social media pages somewhere so we can try and get some extra viewers. I would really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.